Hi, thanks for coming into my kitchen. This is Jill for today. We are going to make today a peach pecan bread. Peaches are in season now, and so it's going to be fresh peaches, pecans. It's going to be really good. Let's get started. All right, first off, you should have your oven preheating at 350 degrees, and your rack should be in the center to the lower rack. And then you want to prepare your bake pan. This is a 9x5. Something close to this would be just great. And this is non-stick, but I still feel like I need to oil it and put a sling in here. And this is parchment paper. And what I do is I oil the pan, and then I put this parchment in here, and it's called a sling. So when you're done baking your bread, you may have to release, the sides of the bread, but then this just pulls right out. It's really slick. So prepare your pan. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our peaches. I'm going to bring in a little bit. I think we might be a little too far out there. This is a veteran. This is the strain, or the variety, I guess you'd call it. They're very small. They're almost the size of an apricot, but they're very sweet. And so that's what I'm using today. Of course, any peach that you get in the market, right, will be just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'll just do one for you, show you how small I'm cutting up the pieces, and then I'll cut up the rest of them. And we need 2 cups approximately. So isn't that a sweet little peach? You don't want them like mushy ripe. Of course I'm ruining this half because I have a hard time getting the pit out of any peach, even though it's called claim free, or freestone is another one. So just nice little nuggets. I'll hold one up so you can see it. Maybe it's less than a half an inch. Less than a half an inch. So I'll finish cutting these up and getting my 2 cups. And once I do that, once I get them into a bowl, I'm going to squeeze them with, just about a teaspoon of lemon juice. And what that'll do is help them keep from turning brown. And that's a nice thing. We don't want brown fruit in our breads. We'll be back. So I'm back, and here are my peaches. Actually, it took all 4 of them, and it was just 2 cups. So if you had 2 large peaches, I think that would just be perfect. So I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to bring in my dry ingredients now. And this is some all-purpose flour. You can use unbleached, which is what I use, and it works just fine, or just regular old all-purpose would just be fine. I'm looking at my recipe and trying to talk to you at the same time, which is rude. So I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to give it a nice little flavor there. So I've got my salt, my baking powder, and my cinnamon. So that's that's all of my mix for the flour and combination. So I'm going to stir this up. Sorry, I was distracted there looking at that recipe, so I wasn't talking as clearly as I could. So I'm going to make sure this is really well combined. We want to make sure that baking powder and the cinnamon and all that's nicely mixed up, and I think that looks pretty good. Hold that up for you so you can see it. All right, I'm going to set that aside for now. Now I'm going to start on some wet ingredients. There we go. I've been trying to get you in there close enough so you could see the bowl. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of eggs to this mixture. There's 1 and 2, and then I'm going to add a half a cup of sugar, half a cup of milk, 1/4 cup of oil. I use avocado oil, but any neutrally flavored oil is just fine. And then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla to this. And I love vanilla, so I'm just going to add a little bit more, just because I can. There we go. All right. And I'm going to give this a good whisk. I want to make sure that sugar is really well combined in there with the egg and the milk and all. You know, it's a grain, you know, it's granular. So we want to try to not necessarily dissolve it, but get it well mixed in there. I think that feels, I can feel on the bottom of the bowl, and it feels really good. No, there's no like little piles of sugar down there, so that's very nicely mixed up. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to bring my powdered flour in here back, but I want to show you what I'm going to do with some of it. I'm going to take a little bit of this, and of course these are the pecans, and I'm just putting a little of that flour on these pecans, and what that helps do is keeps them so they won't sink to the bottom. It really helps. So I put some of that in there. So now I'm going to put the flour mixture in here, and I'm going to stir it. Get that all mixed up. I hate that sound, I'm sorry. Let me get something else in here. That scraping sound is not very pleasant, is it? That's better. It's quiet. And we're just about there. We don't want to overmix this. We want to make sure all the flour mixture, you know, is wet. But we don't want to sit here and beat it and beat it and beat it. We're almost at a point there where I can feel we can move on and start adding the nuts and the peaches. Okay, I think that's good. So I'm going to add the peaches now. Smells good. I'm also going to add the pecans. And we're going to get in here with a spoon because this is not going to be big enough. I'm just going to lightly fold these in. Don't want to crush the peaches, right? But we want to get them incorporated into that batter. Sure smells good. I mean, the peaches and that cinnamon, great combination. And I can smell the vanilla, so it's a really nice flavor profile. I think you'll like it. And that is good. I think that all of that is mixed in there. And again, I will show you what we've got here. There. All right, I'm going to get my pan, which we've already prepared, as you recall. And I'm going to get my spoon back here, and we're going to put this in the pan. Yes, that looks, I can see it now as I'm pouring it in here. It is really well mixed together, so that is really good. I think I've got it there pretty well. And then I'm going to just spread this out so it's evenly mixed throughout the pan. Yes, that looks really nice. Scrape all this off here. And this one too. We don't want to miss any of that good dough. And I will show this to you before I put it in the oven. There it is. So that's pretty easy, isn't it? Pretty basic. I'm going to put that into my preheated oven, remember, 350 degrees, and it's going to cook a good 55, maybe 60 minutes. And I would say, of course, all ovens are different, but I would say go ahead and check it. Maybe starting at 50 minutes, you're going to put a toothpick in this. Well, you'll see, you'll know. You can look at it and see it's probably not cooked. But check it around 50 minutes. If it's looking like it is done, put a toothpick in the center of it. And if it comes out with, you know, a few crumbs on it, that's done. Now, if you pull that toothpick out and it's got a lot of dough on there, that is not cooked. And I'd put it back in for another 2 or 3 minutes. And then just kind of keep an eye on it, and you check it, you know, and see when you hit that sweet spot where it's ready to come out of the oven. So once this is cooked, baked, we'll come back and I'll show you how to get it out of the pan. It's too bad we don't have smell-o-vision. This kitchen smells amazing. So it baked 50 minutes in my oven. So then I started checking it around 45, but it's 50 minutes, and boy, it looks beautiful. I'm going to bring it down and show you what it looks like. Look how beautiful this is. I'm going to take it out of the pan, but look at how beautiful that is. Oh, and it rose beautifully. It's just wonderful. So I'm going to move this over here to a hot pad, like so. And then I'm going to move this in so you can see me take it out of the pan. Hopefully it will come out nicely. I'm going to get myself a little spatula just to kind of loosen the sides here. I don't think I even needed to do that. It feels very loose. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Did you see that? How slick was that, huh? And then what I'm going to do here is just kind of roll a little bit and get that out from underneath it and bring it back that way. Okay, isn't that beautiful? I'm going to let it completely cool, because if you try to put a glaze on it when it's warm, you know, it just runs off. So that's where we're at right now, and I am so happy, and I think you'll be very happy with the recipe yourself. We'll be back a little later. We're back, and I let this cool completely. It took, well, about 2 hours, and I wanted it really cold. And we're going to make a glaze now to put on this bread. And it's just going to be, like they say, gilding the lily. What I have here is some powdered sugar. That's about a half a cup. And I took the extra little step to, you know, sift it, because you know how powdered sugar gets. It'll get little lumps in it, and you want your glaze to be, you know, nice and smooth. And then I have some milk here. You know, I find powdered sugar kind of magical, because you put it's like this big pile of sugar, right? And you put just a little bit of liquid in it, just melts down. So I'm going to start off here with just a tablespoon. Let's see, what I've put 3 tablespoons in here. I'm going to start out with just a tablespoon, and we'll see. And what we're looking for is just a nice, you know, a nice drizzle texture. You know, you want it to be enough to hang on to the bread, but you also want it, you know, thin enough to go on it. I'm trying to, anyway, you want just a nice drizzling consistency. I guess that's the best way to put it. And see, even with that, look at that, even with all of that sifting of the powdered sugar, actually, you know what I think I did is, quite honestly, I think I overdid it with the milk. I really do. And I think I'm going to go get myself a little bit more powdered sugar and try to get this, you know, balanced out. Right. So I added, probably a couple of tablespoons more of the powdered sugar, and it's thickened it up. I had just added too much milk. 1 tablespoon. Yeah, so I put almost 2 tablespoons of milk in there. So here we go. Now we're getting a nice drizzle consistency. And there are still a couple little lumps of powdered sugar in there, but you know what? That's okay. That's all right. It's going to be just delicious. So I'm going to bring the bread in. And here it is. Isn't it just too pretty? Now I want to show you what I did, because I'm going to drizzle it on this rack. So what I do is I put a piece of wax paper down underneath it. So when it drizzles and it drips off, it'll drip off on the wax paper. Pretty smart, huh? Okay, so we're now literally just going to, as they say, we're just going to drizzle this on here. Oh boy, this is going to be so delicious. I've made it before, and the director really liked it before. So I don't know whether he'll remember. I always bake so many things with peaches and apples and cranberries and pumpkin during the year that sometimes I think he doesn't remember all the stuff that I do. Okay, so that is the drizzle on that, and doesn't that look wonderful? Yeah, there's a few little places where there is some powdered sugar, and if you wanted to get really kind of crazy, you could go through with a toothpick and, you know, kind of spread them out. I'm going to let this, you know, firm up the glaze, and usually half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. And then we'll come back and cut a slice of it and he's been very anxious to try it and very patient. He thought he was going to get it without the glaze, earlier. I said, no, you got to have the glaze. So when we come back, we'll have a slice ready and we'll have a tasting. He has been bothering me about this for 3 hours.
Did somebody say food?
So we're going to take a taste of it. I don't think the pictures show the peaches in there, but the peaches, you can see little chunks of peaches in there.
Oops.
There you go.
See the peach in there?
All right.
Wow. That's good.
What do you think of that? Good, huh?
Didn't you make this for us last year?
Yeah, it was last year or the year before. I'm trying to remember that. Yeah, it's good. I haven't had it for that long.
That's nice.
The minute that hits your mouth,
You know.
we say howdy. The peaches. The peaches and the pecans in there. It's moist, but it's not soggy. It's moist, and you get those little nuggets of peaches, and then you get a little crunch of that pecan,
You know what I'm thinking about,
and that
don't
underlying cinnamon. Do you want some coffee?
you? Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, he's got some friends of ours gave us one of those whipped cream things, and I know that's what you want on. Okay. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you'll try this recipe. It's really good. Tell them how good it is. Yeah, it's really good. Thanks a lot for watching. I want you to tell your friends now that this channel's here and I make some good food. Check out my Amazon store. There's a link down below. The recipe is down below. But you know what I want to do? I want to thank you all for deciding to take this crazy ride with us that we call, come on,
Life.
life. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.